So arsenic is a metalloid which occurs in a particular layer of soil below the ground, and so along with groundwater it enters our body. Permissible limit of arsenic according to WHO is 0.01 milligram per liter, and according to our BSI standard in India it is around 0.05 milligram per liter. And if a person takes arsenic above this permissible limit for a long period of time, then he is susceptible to develop arsenicosis. So arsenicosis is a chronic condition which occurs due to ingestion of arsenic through water or food. And arsenic can cause two types of toxicity. One is acute toxicity, that is one ingests a large amount of arsenic at any point of time that can cause severe vomiting, diarrhea, muscle cramp, facial edema, and ultimately death. And chronic type of poisoning which occurs due to prolonged intake of low level of arsenic over a prolonged period of time, and it causes various manifestations in the body. There can be skin manifestation which is easily identifiable, or non-dermatological manifestations also can be there. And for development of cancer, and it takes years. It can be geogenic or anthropogenic. Geogenic means due to geographical reasons there can be arsenic in the soil, mostly in the alluvial soil which is brought down by the rivers like Ganga, Brahmaputra from the Himalayas, and the sediments of these rivers contain high level of arsenic. Arsenic can also be found in the sedimentary rocks. That is why in some parts of the world arsenicosis is found among the miners. So besides geogenic, anthropogenic source like pesticides industry, fertilizers, copper smelting plants, wood preservatives, some of the pigment factories. So human beings are also responsible to some extent. So it exists in nature in two forms, in both organic as well as inorganic forms. Now inorganic arsenic is more toxic than organic variety, and among the inorganic variety the trivalent arsenic is more toxic than the pentavalent one. There are various types of skin manifestations. Most important are, one is pigmentation, that is change in the color of the body, and another is keratosis, that is thickening and roughening of the skin of the palm and sole, mainly palm and sole. So pigmentation can be of different type. One is generalized pigmentation, where there is change in color of the skin in different parts of the body, mainly on the trunk as well as in extremities. And there can be classical arsenic sign, that is known as raindrop pigmentation, where we get some small spots, hypopigmented spots on a generalized blackened skin, known as raindrop pigmentation or leucomelanosis. Or in many cases there can be areas of hypopigmentation along with areas of hyperpigmentation, that is more darkening as well as less darkening in the same patients. This usually happens when the patient had a history of taking water containing high level of arsenic in future. In the later part he usually takes water which is quite safe. So in those patients we get both types of these symptoms, or keratosis this leucomelanosis, that is both hyperpigmentation as well as hypopigmentation. And in keratosis usually initially there is thickening of the palm and the sole skin, followed by roughening of the skin. So it is often not visible with the naked eye, but if one goes rubbing hand against one another during handshake, they can feel the gritty sensation. And in the later part there are some nodules which appears on the skin of the palm as well as in the sole, and these still later these nodules usually develop ulcers because of repeated friction. So these ulcers in near future can develop into different types of cancers. Besides pigmentation and keratosis, arsenicosis usually affects the other part of the body, like lungs. Patient with chronic arsenic toxicity usually complains of chronic cough for a prolonged period with or without expectoration. This is known as chronic bronchitis. Or the patient can also develop bronchiectasis. That is, there can be fibrosis in the lungs also. Besides lung involvement, arsenicosis can also affect liver and a disease known as non-cirrhotic portal fibrosis. It is very specific of arsenicosis. So it can also occur in the liver. We have seen that the patients who are suffering from arsenicosis, they are more susceptible to develop diabetes, ischemic heart disease, and also different types of cancers. Most common of them is skin cancer.
Since 85, 86, 87, people started coming to my hospital ward. So then I examined all people who had exposure of arsenic, who had got high level arsenic in the water, and they have got various symptoms of dyspepsia, lung disease, liver enlargement, peripheral neuropathy and others. Initially I examined those who had been drinking arsenic contained water and showed features of liver disease in the hospital ward. Then I found that in South 24 one of the districts near Kolkata, people are coming from some villages where there are arsenic patients. So I went to that village and examined several patients in the villages. After investigation, I confirmed that arsenicosis produces liver fibrosis because liver histology showed evidence of fibrosis, and the arsenic content in the liver, arsenic content in the hair, nail of those patients were very high as I tested them in Trombay by means of neutron activation analysis. So we carried out one epidemiological survey on a population of 7,000 in Southwest Bengal. I took a team of doctors with me, went house to house to about 700,000 people. I took water samples which they are drinking. I examined them, what is the nature of our skin disease, and also had what is the arsenic content of the liver. And then we have got large number of data of 7,000 people with various symptoms of arsenic and also their exposure varying from 50 microgram per liter to 3,400 microgram per liter. So when we got all this data, we have tabulated them, we took the sample data and analyzed them and prepared that paper where we found that higher the dose of arsenic exposure, higher the incidence of arsenic skin lesions, pigmentation and keratosis. So from all these activities we have been able to do several things. Number one, arsenicosis not only produces skin disease, arsenic produces systemic manifestations like lung disease, liver disease, peripheral neuropathy like tingling, numbness of the heart, and also various weakness, asthenia, anemia and dyspepsia. Since 2005, I started mitigation activity. We carried out activity in the field in 4 ways. Number one, house to house visit. We have to tell the mitigation means make the people aware they should not drink arsenic water. They should stop drinking arsenic water. For that, their duty is to test their water source, and for that we ask government to develop test laboratories so that they can send the water samples there. Then we organize meetings in the panchayats, in the schools, and carry out various publicity so that people come and there, and we show them pictures, we show them photographs, we show them cinemas and make them aware. So this awareness generation of the people, house to house visit, and also awareness in the meeting, and then training of the people, training of doctors, paramedical staff like Anganwadi workers, ASHA workers, health assistant, paramedical staff, and local doctors. So in this way, we have been carrying a lot of activity.
Appropriate intervention at the appropriate time is needed to control the problem. We should know how many people are really suffering and how many people are at risk. And for that identification, we need to train the doctors as well as health workers who will identify the cases and refer them at the appropriate, the right places at right time. Secondly, we also should know the disease burden, that is by proper epidemiological house-to-house study, and also try to supply safe water, arsenic-free water in those areas. And we should motivate the people to use arsenic-free water for at least for drinking and cooking purpose. We should also conduct studies to know the health impact, what is the effect of supplying safe water, because safe arsenic-free water is one of the cornerstone of management of arsenicosis. There are some drugs, some chelating agents which have been used for treatment of arsenicosis, but still none of them found to be suitable for large-scale use. Nutrition status of a particular person also plays a very important role. So besides safe water, we have found that those who usually suffer from animal protein deficiency as well as deficiency of some antioxidant like vitamin A, E, C can aggravate the symptoms of arsenicosis. So taking a diet, balanced diet with plenty of animal proteins as well as antioxidants like vitamins along with safe water is the only remedy of arsenicosis.